Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever had that feeling where you kind of just snap back to reality and wonder what you've been doing for the last 20 minutes? You look up from your phone or you realize you just ate a whole bag of chips without even really tasting them? Well, what if I told you that a huge chunk of your life isn't actually based on conscious choices at all?
Check this out. The number is 40%. A full 40% of what you do every single day isn't an active decision. It's a habit.
Yep, you heard that right. For nearly half of your waking hours, you're pretty much running on autopilot. You're following this automated script that's running deep in the background of your mind, a script you probably don't even remember writing.
Now, your life being on autopilot sounds kind of scary, right? But it's not all bad. In fact, it's your brain being incredibly efficient. Think of habits as your brain's energy-saving mode. It automates the routine stuff, so you have more mental horsepower for new, challenging things. But, and this is the big question, what happens when those automated scripts start leading you to places you don't want to go?
So, if we want to change these scripts, we've got to understand how they're built in the first place. We're going to pull back the curtain and look at the anatomy of a habit. It's this simple but incredibly powerful three-part code that's basically running the whole show. All right, so here it is, the habit loop. It's got three parts. First, there's the cue. This is the trigger. That little ding your phone makes, that's a perfect cue. That cue kicks off step 2, the routine. This is the automatic behavior. You just pick up the phone without even thinking. And finally, you get the reward. That little rush from seeing a new message or a like, that's a dopamine hit. And that reward is what tells your brain, hey, that felt good. Let's remember to do that again.
And get this loop isn't just some abstract idea. It's physically happening inside your head. Every single time you run that loop, cue, routine, reward, you are literally carving a pathway in your brain. At first, it's like walking through a field of tall grass. You leave a faint little trail.
But what happens when you walk that same path hundreds or even thousands of times? Well, that trail isn't a trail anymore. It deepens into a canyon. And at that point, your brain isn't really choosing the path anymore. It's just falling into it. It becomes the default, the absolute path of least resistance. And this right here, this explains so much frustration, doesn't it? It's why most New Year's resolutions are doomed from the start. We decide we want to change, so we try to fight the habit head-on, and we fall right into what's called the willpower trap. We think we can just use sheer willpower to force ourselves to climb out of that canyon. But here's the problem. Willpower is a limited resource. It's like your phone's battery. It drains throughout the day. And trying to fight a deeply grooved habit is like trying to climb a sheer cliff face every single time the cue hits. It's just exhausting. And eventually, you're going to slip. So let's look at the two approaches side by side. You've got willpower, which is all about fighting the routine, draining that battery, and constantly feeling like you're battling uphill. But then there's this other, much smarter way. Environment design. Here, you don't fight the routine at all. You just remove the cue. It's a single, one-time decision that creates flow instead of friction.
And that is the big secret, the aha moment. The solution isn't to get more willpower, it's to be a better architect. You can stop fighting and start designing. You can actually become the architect of your own world, setting things up so that good choices happen almost automatically.
So let's go back to that central question. How in the world do you break a habit that feels as deep and inescapable as a canyon? Well, the answer is kind of counterintuitive. You stop trying to fight the routine. Stop trying to climb that canyon wall. Seriously, it's a losing battle. Instead, you do this. You starve the cue. It's that simple. If the trigger never happens, the entire automated script never gets a chance to run. The ding never goes off. You never even start down that path into the canyon. So how do you do this in the real world? You design your environment. To break that phone habit, don't rely on willpower to ignore the notification. Just hide the cue. Put the phone in another room. Stick it in a locked box. Add friction. And at the same time, make the things you want to do super obvious. Create flow. If you want to read more, just leave a book right where your phone used to be. Because ultimately, your environment shapes your behavior way more than your willpower ever will. And here's the coolest part. This whole mechanism, the habit loop, it's not just for breaking bad habits. You can totally hijack it to build the life you actually want. You can start carving out brand new, positive pathways in your brain.
Think about it. Every time you respond to an old cue, like plopping down on the sofa, with a new, better routine, like picking up that book instead of your phone, you're starting a new track. Those tiny little wins start to physically wire your brain for bigger changes. a new, healthier path starts to form.
So, this leaves us with one final, really powerful question. This isn't about finding superhuman willpower for the rest of your life. It's about being a smarter architect. So look at your day, find one habit you'd love to change, and just ask yourself this: what is the one cue I can hide, remove, or redesign starting right now?